All right, let's go ahead and get started. David, go to the next slide, please. My name is Michael Manlapas. I've been with Revel for 2 years. I manage our integrated partner program. I've been in retail and hospitality technology for 25 years. But at Revel, part of the value that we bring to our customers is not just our product, but our ecosystem of 130 some odd third-party solutions pre-integrated into our platform so that our customers have best of breed choice in several domains. And today I am pleased to speak with you along with one of those integrated partners, 7Shifts. Brent, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, thanks, Michael. So Brent Beatty from 7Shifts here, as Michael mentioned, one of Revel's best integrated partners. Excited to walk you through today kind of the power of combining the 7Shifts technology using the integrated ecosystem that Revel provides, and how you can more effectively manage your workforce and your labor force. So yeah, been with 7Shifts for what seems like a long time, almost 5 years now, and actually was one of the product managers building out the Revel integration on our end way back in the day when we first kicked things off. So to start today, though, we wanted to chat with both the group here and pull some knowledge from the industry as well about some of the biggest challenges facing restaurants today. So it's nice to see that the poll we had here matches up pretty closely with what we found from a recent Restaurant Outlook survey. There's a ton of challenges, no shortage of hard things to deal with for restaurants right now, but some of the biggest ones are labor shortages and labor costs. So nice to see kind of what we're hearing from everyone in the industry matches what most of the people here today have highlighted as their biggest challenges as well. We can see that over $100 billion has been lost on hiring, turnover, and staff engagement over the past 5 to 7 years in the restaurant space. What we've learned is that managers spend up to 8 hours per week on all things scheduling related. So that's not just creating schedules, but making sure they can find coverage and that we have appropriate people in the workplace to fill shifts and hopefully maximize revenue, right? The more employees you have to meet demand, the more smoothly your day will go. And that restaurants spend or have spent in that same time period about $18 billion on mismanaged schedules and compliance issues that came from that. So we want to talk to you today about a few of the different tools that our integration with Revel offers to help make these things easier.
Great. So just one last bit of table setting. We all know about the Great Resignation in November alone of last year. 4.5 million people left their jobs. Nearly a quarter of those were in the restaurant and hotel industries. So I think the point is that to remain competitive, to address this, operators, they have to offer the right compensation and benefits packages, but they also have to offer the right work environment and tools to provide an attractive workplace as employees clearly have a choice and increasing choice in today's environment. So primarily, we want to hear from 7Shifts and how some of the ways that they address these challenges. But I did want to address a couple of things from the from the Revel side of our solutions, ways that our technology helps address these challenges. First of all, at the base level with our operating system, having our solution based on the Apple iOS platform is incredibly familiar to employees, and we have great stories where employees have been able to pick up a point of sale ring transactions without any training. Also, contactless payment technologies that can reduce the amount of labor that's required And it can also reduce the strain and the amount of things that the employees have to manage themselves, leveraging technology to take off some of that burden. And then self-service ordering options. Revel has had a kiosk solution for quite some time, and coming soon, we're also adding ordering on the mobile phone so that customers can leverage their own device. So further reducing some of the demands on staff in the store.
Yeah, makes sense for sure. And we want to talk about some of the, I guess, always baked in or built in tools to 7shifts that can help you really improve the workplace experience for your employees and hopefully retain, keep them happy and provide more transparency to everyone that works within your organization. We can flip over to the next slide here. So what I'm going to walk you through today is just an overview of all the different tools that exist in the 7shifts platform that can help you, I guess, improve the overall experience for your frontline workers and for those that are interacting with you. At its core, 7shifts was built to simplify all interactions between the employee and the employer. And these are all kind of the separate and individual pieces that help streamline that process. And we'll talk about this in two ways today. The first is how it can benefit you as a restaurant operator, but the second is how not only it will do that and save you costs, but how it can also improve the experience for your employees, which is a really pivotal or key piece to a lot of restaurant strategies right now to kind of fight this labor crunch and labor shortage and even help reduce costs. So it could maybe even up compensation for other employees within the restaurant. So we'll talk a little bit about how you can do more with what you have. The first thing we wanted to talk about here in 7shifts is scheduling. So 7shifts really offers powerful scheduling tools that are also really easy to use for you as an operator. So a few just quick things to highlight here. Operators who use 7shifts and the integration to share data back and forth between Revel and our system spend about 80% less time scheduling. The system is really built to kind of automate that whole process and allow you to spend your time fixing errors that maybe require human intervention, but not doing simple things like copying over shifts and schedules and figuring out, who between availability and time off can actually work shifts. We do that whole lift for you. On the operator side, it results in about a 1 to 3% reduction in unnecessary labor costs and saves about $250 in time per month. That's just with creating the schedule without all the other tools that come after that. On the employee side, one big thing that I'll highlight throughout kind of our whole presentation here today is a greater sense of control and transparency for your employees. I remember actually working at my first restaurant job way back in the day. It was God, 8-9 years ago now. And I remember the restaurant I worked at actually adopting 7shifts and me saying like, oh my God, if I continue to work at restaurants, it was back in university at the time, I never want to work in one that doesn't have 7shifts again. Because it actually puts a lot of the control in your employees' hands to customize their schedules, to trade and swap shifts, to kind of understand when new shifts become available so they can pick up those shifts and earn extra money. Not only is the scheduling piece awesome, but the communication piece that layers on top of that really does great things for your employee experience and make sure that not only are they able to easily access the data about their schedule, but they can customize it and change it to their liking. So that's the first piece. Quick quote here, it's incredibly simple to set up and to start using 7shifts. A lot of operators say they wish that they would have deployed it and used it a long time ago. On the next slide here, I think we hope to talk about, one more click there, please, another tool from 7shifts, which is real-time compliance alerts and notifications. So we talked about the scheduling piece, how you can easily create schedules, improve the experience for employees. But to take that one step further, a lot of the actions that you may take when editing or changing schedules will result in additional costs for you as a business owner. So it's important that you can understand the trade-offs that some of those decisions you're trying to make will give for the business, potentially reduce them and look at other options that may save you money. So what we're highlighting here is that there's been about 120% year-over-year growth in state-based labor laws. If we look at certain jurisdictions like DC or California or New York, there's an increasing amount of laws that are meant to protect frontline and hourly workers, but also come with a whole new layer of added complexity because they involve things like the amount of time or notice you have to give to employees when you're altering or changing schedules, certain payouts that you have to give to your employees if their hours are reduced, or if you make certain changes to kind of their predicted or expected schedule. And 7 Shifts can really help with that. Right now, the majority of restaurants, over 65%, don't really have a solution to manage this on their own, or even for larger organizations to alert in-store managers or managers who may be working on the floor of what some of these actions that they may take involving the schedule and employees will actually mean for the business. And right now we cover about 85% of different jurisdiction rules through the 7 Shift system, so that you can be rest assured will help you reduce as many of those costs as possible and understand the decisions. Again, kind of pairing it back to what we talked about in scheduling, this is what we do for you as an operator, but there's a huge benefit to employees from this system as well. One of the things that we have kind of seen as a growing trend in the industry is a push for greater transparency and understanding of actions that managers are taking, and of a greater push, for understanding of the pay that employees receive and of records of their time. And 7 Shifts can do just that. So as you're going through our system, making changes to people's schedules, they're instantly notified. They can understand things that I mentioned already, like, hey, more shifts are up for grabs. Maybe I'd want to work this week. And can have that kind of always on or always available record of everything that happened within their restaurant relating to their pay and their time and attendance right within the 7 Shifts app that they're already using and maybe checking often as well. So again, great benefit for you as the operator to reduce costs and know which decisions you should be making and that are best for the business, and a better transparency for employees about what's happened with their time and attendance, so they can also do the same. And if we want to click ahead to the next slide there. So we've mentioned time and attendance here already. Again, we have a really awesome and integrated time and attendance tool within 7 Shifts. So the awesome thing about our integration with Revel is that time records will automatically sync directly to 7 Shifts from the Revel system. But you can also elect to use one of 7 Shifts built-in tools. Happy to have someone walk anyone on the call here through a bit of an exploration on which tool would be best for them later. But some of the advantages of using 7 Shifts kind of built-in time and attendance tool is that app that I've already mentioned. So our 7 Shifts employee-facing mobile app. It gives the ability for your employees to clock in and out from their own personal or mobile devices. It does things like set radiuses around your restaurant, so you can be sure that employees are at the right work or job site before they punch in. And again, sends different push notifications and alerts both to your operators to remind you about actions and things that are happening, and employees need to take breaks. Employees need to be sent so that they don't incur additional overtime costs. Lots of different options in terms of notifications that help you as an operator stay on top of what's happening on the floor and help you manage better, but also lots of flexibility and, again, transparency for employees so they can view all that information right on their mobile phones within the system at any time as well. One of our operators here kind of mentioned in the quote that the 7 Punches app allows employees to clock in using a smartphone or a tablet in the restaurant. Again, use Revel, use 7 Shifts, but all of that kind of baked into one system to streamline any communication between you as the operator and your employee is a great benefit of the system. Just a quick click there as well. If we go to the next slide. We've talked a lot so far about different tools that help you be better as an operator and provide more transparency to employees, but we want to talk a little bit now about what happens if employees may be unhappy with their workplace, and how you can help use the 7 Shifts system to identify any trends that are happening across your staff and across different locations if you own multiple properties. So we have a tool in 7 Shifts called Engage, and what it does is it takes a whole bunch of different data points that we have in the 7 Shift system that also sync from the Revel system, And it pairs that together into a few different views or snapshots about how happy your employees are at work and kind of what's happening in terms of things like time and attendance within either your individual department location or across all of your different properties. So a few of the things that we leverage there are time and attendance data, are employees showing up on time, are they showing up late? All that information is in the system. We also look at other items like, are employees giving away all their shifts? Are they picking up shifts? We also have a tool in the system that asks people how their day at work was and looks to collect a little more information about whether their day at work was good. Also collects comments directly from your staff. And the whole goal of this is to come up with something that we call an engagement score for employees. And when we notice big differences or changes in those scores, we feed that data back to you as the operator and allow you to access it anytime. So not only can you get a good view of maybe an employee who needs to be contacted or re-engaged, but how different locations or different departments within your locations are actually performing. So you can go and give accolades to good employees and good managers that may need it. So yeah, not only can you use some of the tools in the system to help prevent disengagement and keep your employees engaged, but you can use the system to identify when maybe things aren't working or when they're going well. So restaurants that have used this engagement tool have managed to increase staff retention by about 13% on average because they have been able to identify issues, again, with certain employees or within certain locations and been able to go back to their managers and operators and push for more action there to improve those things. Just a quick click there as well for the next slide. There's a few other tools that are built or baked into 7shifts that help both improve employee experience and communication. One of them is our task management tool. We call this tool 7 Tasks, and at its core, it's really customizable. So you as an operator can come in, you can provide different lists for duties for both your management team or your frontline staff. They can access all this information, again, within the 7shifts mobile app on a tablet or device that exists within the restaurant. That way you can make sure that all your tasks are getting done and ensure that every employee who's working in your restaurant knows what tasks you'd like them to complete and who's actually completing them across, again, the different departments or areas of your locations. The big advantage here is digitizing a lot of this work. Many restaurants don't do that, but it allows employees to know what their day ahead at work may look like if you're assigning one-off task lists or it's been a busy week and things need to get done. And it also allows them to kind of view, maybe what hasn't been done for the day. So if people are coming in for the night shift and it was a busy day, they can help out and make sure that your restaurant keeps running smoothly. You also have the ability to assign tasks to individual employees or roles or areas within the business. And by doing that and putting accountability on certain employees, not only are you improving their knowledge of what needs to get done at work and making it easy for them to complete it, but you're actually able to increase the completion of those tasks within your restaurant by about 135%. The operators are saying some great things about the tool. It's easy to use, gotten rid of paper task lists, and again, it integrates with the whole ecosystem to improve staff happiness, accountability, and hopefully help your restaurant run a bit more smoothly. A quick click there as well, if you can. And then I think last tool we want to talk about directly here, but a really good one to note. We've talked about all the different ways 7shifts can help streamline scheduling within the system, help with time and attendance, employee engagement. But the last piece here is communication. We at 7shifts want to build a platform that allows you to very easily communicate with everyone within your restaurant, and for those people to really easily be able to communicate with you. So the communication tools that exist across 7shifts are built and kind of tailored to a few different audiences. The first is the task management tool. To be honest, you can leave comments and complete tasks there. But a few other tools that we offer are a manager logbook, which helps your management staff share notes and information about what's going on within the business and always have an up-to-date record there of those comments, but of some of the key statistics that note how your restaurant is operating. Like your labor spend, your labor percentage, even things like the weather on the days that had operated or had happened in the past, and things like the average shift score or feedback from employees about how their day at work was as well. So that logbook feature can be accessed by anyone with manager level approval in 7shifts. And last but not least, probably the most powerful communication tool is our announcements and chat feature within 7shifts. So you can use these features in a few different ways. You can set up groups, like a servers group within 7shifts, so all of your employees can chat with each other, which is a great tool to help drive engagement, to share notices for certain groups or staff members in certain areas of your restaurant. Employees can communicate with each other directly in one-on-one conversations, directly with you as the manager to send notes about what's happening at work if they're late or need to call out for the day. And the announcement feature is probably the more powerful one. So as a restaurant, oftentimes there's many different pieces of communication that you may need to send out to your frontline staff. So you can use the announcement tool to share PDFs and documents, updated things like recipes, maybe standard operating procedures for your restaurant. You send that out and it blasts instantly to all of the staff within your restaurant via SMS, push notification, or email. So you can make sure not only that people receive those communications, but also use tools like read receipts and ensure that they're being acknowledged and that your staff are actually reading them so everyone is on the same page and kept up to speed. The communication tool ultimately results in a lot fewer calls, sticky notes back and forth between you and your team. You reduce all that communication by up to 70%. And the mobile app is always free, so any of your staff can download it. For those that may not have smartphones, or for certain people working in the restaurant that may not leverage technology, we do back SMS onto that system so you can make sure that your communication reaches everyone when it needs to. And just click there too. And then, yeah, I think Revel wanted to talk about one last kind of tool that they help to drive staff engagement and retain staff within the restaurant.
Yeah, thanks, Brent. I appreciate that comprehensive view of all the ways that 7shifts can help operators manage and engage with employees. That's great. There is one last thing that we wanted to preview. We're not quite ready to announce our partnership here, but we are excited about bringing earned wage access or pay on demand. I think it's called a couple of different things, but we think this is going to be a really powerful addition to capabilities for our operators. In summary, if you're not familiar with it, you think about the employee base with our customers, largely living paycheck to paycheck. If there are extraordinary costs, be it a medical bill, a car repair, or whatever the cause may be, it can be a real inconvenience and potentially heavy cost to the individual. Typically, the options are borrow money from friend or family, or take out expensive payday loans with extreme interest rates. So what earned wage access does is it allows employees to borrow against, or actually get an advance on the money they've already earned but not been paid out yet. So if you're paid every 2 weeks and maybe a week in arrears, you could have a significant sum of money that you've earned but you can't access. And so the providers in this space, basically through an app and integration into payroll and time and attendance systems, can give the employee the ability to typically up to 50% of what they've earned get it immediately. And there are a lot of benefits for this. Obviously, for the employee, eliminating the churn and the mental strain on dealing with these situations can be a lot cheaper. There can be like an ATM type fee to access the money, or in some cases, if they're using the money on a pay card, it could be no cost. And for the employer, also no fees. But it helps to make the employer more attractive. It helps with applications, with retention, a lot of goodness for a win-win here. And so we're really excited to be bringing this out sometime later this year. What has been your experiences with this space at 7shifts?
Yeah, so we have chatted with and work with a lot of partners who provide earned wage access as a service as well. And we've seen some pretty kind of staggering results here. One of the biggest things or biggest impacts we've had is actually on open shifts. So especially as a lot of our operators right now may be running short-staffed or are really scrambling and looking to fill last-minute shifts with employees, we've seen that the introduction of something like earned wage access has actually improved those fill rates by like over 60% in some cases. If employees know that they can come and work today and they'll get paid instantly or have access to that pay right away, they're much more likely to come in and fill those gaps or those shifts within your restaurant. So the first thing, and you mentioned it here, Michael, open positions, we call them open shifts, being filled a lot faster has been a huge benefit. We've talked about things like employee engage in 7 shifts, and we've also noticed a pretty strong correlation between employee happiness and increases in the tenure or length of stay that employees have with businesses that have implemented earned wage access as well. So we'll just kind of amplify those 2 comments. It's a really great way, or it's to keep employees, to keep them happy, and hopefully ensure that if your business is in a pinch and needs to get employees in, that instant availability of that money or that pay can be a good incentive that you can use.
Yeah, that's great. Thanks. I think that is the end of our prepared content today. I think we've got a few minutes left. If we have any questions from the audience, we'll be happy to try to address them. And Brent, I've got one here already. How do you calculate reduction in labor costs and time saved per month? Does the tool calculate the metrics itself, or do you need additional studies or analysis?
Yeah, so in terms of the time saved for managers, it's kind of analysis that we've ran on our own through studies with many of our customers who have just joined the system. You can even see over time that the amount of time some of our operators will spend within the 7 shifts tool reduces greatly after we get pre-made templates and schedules built out that really simplify the process. The second portion of that question was labor spend. So when you connect your integration to 7 shifts, we actually backfill our system with, I think it's about 90 days worth of sales data and labor data. And we track those things over time. So we see that once restaurants start using the tool effectively, that their labor percentage and their ability to set labor targets and actually reach or hit those targets improves almost instantly, but more over time. So the longer you use the tool, and again, the more you take advantage of some of our pre-built templates and the more your staff get used to the system, the less money you'll have to spend on labor and the more easy it will be for you to do things like fill shifts without having to spend money on overtime or prevent your managers who are working on the floor from keeping the wrong employees or perhaps editing schedules in a way that will add additional costs for you. Within the 7 shift system, you can track your labor percentage, your labor spend, both daily and weekly and monthly and overtime. So hopefully you can use our reporting tools to see those numbers go down after you integrate both systems.
Great, thanks.
Yeah.
All right, another question. If you had 3 choices to improve efficiency, leveraging technology, improving management, or improving workforce engagement, which option would you invest most in?
So the 3 options there was improving
leverage technology, improving management, or improving workforce engagement.
I don't know if the investment in any one of those has to come without an improvement in the other. Obviously, I have a bias for using technology to help make these things easier, but a lot of the tools that both Revel and 7 Shifts offers will do the other 2, right? They'll help better engage your staff by offering tools that open up new spaces for them to communicate, or they'll provide more insights and better data for your managers to be more effective. So I don't know that you have to do any one of those 3 in silos, but because I build technology and I've seen the impact it can have on people, I'd say choose a technology that helps you do the other 2.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. All right, I think we are at time. So thank you all for joining. I hope you found today's session to be useful and informative. I appreciate your time and interest, and keep well. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks so much.